The music was loud, the laughter even louder, but Mia felt strangely out of place that night. She wasn't much of a party girl, but her best friend Tasha had begged her to come. Just one drink, relax a little, Tasha had said, dragging her into the crowded club. Mia agreed because she trusted her. They had been friends since high school, and Tasha was always the bold, fearless one. But lately, Mia noticed something different about her, something sharper, almost bitter, whenever she spoke. Still, she pushed the thought away. Tonight was supposed to be fun. As the night went on, Mia excused herself to the restroom. She left her drink on the table without a second thought, laughing when Tasha teased her for acting too uptight. But when she came back, the glass was still there, ice melting slowly, the liquid a little lower than she remembered. She didn't question it. She trusted her friend. She trusted the people around her. So she picked up the drink and took a long sip. At first, nothing felt strange. The music was pulsing, her head moving to the rhythm, her laughter rising with the crowds. But then, after only a few minutes, the world around her started to blur. Her legs felt heavy, her hands weak. The room tilted in ways that didn't make sense. "Mia, you okay?" Tasha asked, her voice soft but her eyes unreadable. I don't feel right," Mia whispered, her words slurring. Panic crept into her chest. This wasn't just alcohol. She knew her limits. She had barely finished one drink. Tasha leaned closer, her hand on Mia's shoulder. "Don't worry. I'll take care of you," she said, but her tone carried something that chilled Mia's blood. It wasn't concern. It was control. Mia's heart raced as her body betrayed her. Her vision doubled, her knees buckled, and Tasha wrapped an arm around her like a savior. But deep down, Mia realized something was wrong, terribly wrong. She wanted to scream, to fight, to ask for help, but the words wouldn't come out. The crowd around them danced and laughed, blind to the silent war inside her body. Her phone buzzed in her bag. She tried to reach for it, her fingers fumbling, but Tasha's grip tightened. "Don't worry about that," she whispered sharply, guiding Mia faster toward the door. Cold air hit her face as they stepped outside, but it didn't clear her head. If anything, the night spun harder. Streetlights bent and twisted. The sound of cars passing by echoed like thunder in her ears. Mia's last clear thought before darkness pressed in was a painful one. She should never have left her drink. And worst of all, she should never have trusted the one person leading her away. Mia was 24, a quiet girl who had learned early in life to keep her guard up. She grew up in a small apartment with her mother, who worked long hours as a nurse. Her father had left when she was only 10, and though she rarely spoke about it, the pain of his absence still shaped her. Trust never came easily to her, and when she finally let people close, she held on to them tightly. That was why Tasha meant so much to her. They had met in high school, when Mia was the shy new girl in class. Tasha, bold and loud, had pulled her in without hesitation. They became best friends, and for years Mia believed that bond was unbreakable. Even when Tasha made reckless choices, skipped classes, or hung out with the wrong people, Mia defended her. "She's just misunderstood," she would say. In truth, Mia needed her. Tasha gave her confidence, made her feel seen. But things had begun to shift. After college, Mia started working as a receptionist at a law firm. It wasn't her dream job, but it was stable, and stability mattered to her. Tasha, on the other hand, drifted from one hustle to another, always chasing quick money, always angry at the world. Their lives moved in different directions, but Mia tried to hold on to what they had. Deep down, she was afraid of being alone. At work, Mia kept her head down. She was smart and hardworking, but too quiet to stand out. Some coworkers liked her, others barely noticed her. She dreamed of becoming a paralegal one day, maybe even going to law school if she could save enough. But saving was hard. Her mother still leaned on her for bills, and Mia always felt responsible for helping. That sense of responsibility weighed on her like a constant shadow. When it came to love, Mia's heart carried scars. She had been in one serious relationship in college with a guy named Eric. At first, he seemed kind, charming even. But over time he became controlling, jealous of her friends, jealous of her independence. By the time she broke free, she felt drained, smaller than before. Since then, she kept men at a distance. She told herself she was too busy for dating, but the truth was she feared betrayal more than loneliness. Tasha was the one person she still trusted completely, or at least she wanted to. That trust was built on years of shared secrets and memories. And even when Tasha's behavior grew sharper, snide comments about Mia's job, mocking her quiet ways, Mia brushed it off. She doesn't mean it, she would think. but part of her knew something had cracked between them. What Mia didn't realize was how dangerous it could be to hold on to someone who no longer held her the same way. That night at the club wasn't just another outing. It was the moment when her loyalty would be tested against the truth, and the cost of blind trust would become painfully clear. Mia woke up the next morning with a pounding headache and a heavy weight in her chest. She was in her own bed, but she had no memory of how she got home. The last thing she remembered was Tasha's arm around her and the cold night air outside the club. After that, everything was blank. Her phone buzzed with messages. One was from Tasha. "You were so out of it last night. I had to take you home. Don't worry, I kept you safe." Mia stared at the words, her stomach twisting. Something about them didn't feel right. She tried to remember details, anything, but her mind was foggy. She checked her purse. Her wallet was there, her phone was there, but her keys were missing. And when she looked in the mirror, she saw a faint bruise on her arm, as if someone had gripped her too tightly. Confused and scared, she called Tasha. "What happened last night?" Tasha's voice was calm, almost too calm. "You drank too much, that's all. I had to drag you out before you embarrassed yourself. You should thank me." But Mia knew her limits. She had only had one drink, maybe two at most. Something didn't add up. Her chest tightened as she asked, "Did you put something in my drink?" There was a long silence on the other end of the line. Then Tasha laughed, sharp and cold. "Why would I do that to my best friend?" she said. But the way she said it made Mia's skin crawl. Later that day, Mia's coworker Daniel stopped by her desk at the law firm. He looked uncomfortable, like he wanted to say something but didn't know how. Finally, he leaned closer and whispered, "Mia, I saw something last night." Her heart skipped. "What do you mean?" Daniel explained that he had been at the same club with some friends. He had seen Tasha pouring something into Mia's drink while she was in the restroom. He hadn't wanted to believe what he saw, but when he noticed how Mia stumbled out later, barely able to walk, he felt sick. The room spun for Mia as the words sank in. Betrayal burned in her chest. Tasha wasn't just reckless. She wasn't just bitter. She had done something deliberate, something dangerous. That night, Mia confronted Tasha face to face. Her voice shook as she asked again, "Did you drug me?" Tasha's smile didn't reach her eyes. "You're being dramatic. You were fine. I got you home, didn't I? Who else is going to look out for you the way I do?" Mia's hands trembled. For years she had excused Tasha's behavior, told herself it was just rough edges, loyalty through thick and thin. But this was different. This was betrayal. The friend she trusted most had crossed a line she could never take back. For the first time in her life, Mia realized she wasn't safe, not even with the one person she thought she could always depend on. Mia could not shake Daniel's words. Every time she replayed them in her head, the truth became harder to ignore. Tasha had betrayed her. The thought kept her awake at night, her body tense, her chest heavy with dread. But part of her still clung to the past, to the years of friendship that had once felt like family. She tried to distance herself, avoiding Tasha's calls and texts. But Tasha didn't take silence lightly. She showed up at Mia's apartment one evening, smiling as if nothing had happened. "Why are you ignoring me?" she asked, her tone playful but her eyes sharp. Mia's voice trembled. "Because I know what you did." For a second, Tasha's mask slipped. Her face hardened, her smile gone. Then she laughed, loud and dismissive. "You're paranoid. Don't believe everything people tell you. I'm the only one who's ever had your back." The words cut deep. They were both a threat and a reminder of Mia's loneliness. And the truth was, Mia did feel alone. Her mother was always working. Her co-workers were friendly but not close. Tasha had been her anchor, even when that anchor pulled her down. At work, Mia struggled to focus. Daniel noticed her unease, but she brushed off his concern. She didn't want to drag him into her mess. Still, the more she avoided Tasha, the more aggressive Tasha became. Random calls at night. Messages saying, "Don't forget who your real friend is." Notes slipped under her apartment door. One evening, Mia found her missing keys left on her doormat. The sight chilled her. It meant Tasha had been inside her home, or at least close enough to leave them there. Fear pressed down on her chest like a weight she couldn't shake off. When Mia finally confronted her again, the argument exploded. Tasha accused her of being ungrateful. "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me? You think Daniel cares about you? He just wants something from you. I'm the one who knows you, the only one who understands you." The words hit like knives. They were filled with manipulation, twisting Mia's loyalty against her. She realized then how much power Tasha had held over her for years, using guilt and fear to keep her close. But now the illusion was breaking. The more Tasha tried to tighten her grip, the more Mia saw the truth. She wasn't safe, and she wasn't loved. She was being controlled. Still, breaking free wasn't simple. Every message, every unexpected knock on her door made her heart race. She lived in constant tension, torn between fear of what Tasha might do and the desperate need to finally reclaim her life. The friendship that once defined her was now a chain around her neck. And Mia knew, sooner or later, something had to break. It all came to a head one Friday night. Mia had stayed late at work, finishing paperwork, when her phone rang. It was Tasha again. This time the voice on the other end was not playful, it was sharp, angry. "You think you can cut me off? You think you're better than me now?" Tasha spat. Mia's hand shook as she held the phone. "I know what you did. You drugged me. You put me in danger. And I don't trust you anymore." There was silence, then Tasha laughed bitterly. "Danger? Please. You're alive, aren't you? I was teaching you a lesson. You walk around acting so innocent, so perfect. I just wanted to show you who's in control." The words hit Mia like a slap. Her worst fear was true. It hadn't been a mistake. It was deliberate. Mia hung up, her heart pounding, and went straight to Daniel. She told him everything. For the first time, she spoke the truth out loud, about the drink, the missing keys, the fear that followed her every day. Daniel listened quietly, then said, "Mia, this is serious. You need to protect yourself. You can't let her near you again." That night, Mia decided she couldn't live in fear anymore. She blocked Tasha's number, locked her doors, and told her mother everything. But Tasha wasn't finished. 2 nights later, Mia came home to find her apartment door slightly open. Her stomach dropped. She stepped inside, her body trembling, and found Tasha sitting on the couch, waiting for her. The air was heavy, tense, almost impossible to breathe. "You've been talking about me, haven't you?" Tasha said, her eyes blazing. "Running to Daniel, telling lies. After everything I've done for you." Mia's voice broke, but she stood her ground. "They're not lies. You drugged me, Tasha. You crossed the line. You could have ruined my life. And I'm done letting you control me." For a moment, Tasha looked stunned. Then her face twisted with rage. She stood up fast, stepping closer. "You're nothing without me. Who else would even notice you? Who else would care?" But something inside Mia snapped. Years of silence, years of fear, years of letting Tasha decide who she was, they all broke in that moment. Her voice rose, strong and steady. "I don't need you anymore. I'm not afraid of you." The words hung in the air like a thunderclap. For the first time, Tasha faltered. She saw the change in Mia's eyes, the strength that had been buried but not destroyed. Daniel arrived minutes later. Mia had called him before stepping inside. When he walked through the door, Tasha froze, realizing she was no longer in control. It was over. The days after the confrontation felt like a storm clearing. Mia was shaken, but she was no longer silent. With Daniel's help, she filed a police report. She told them about the drink, about the bruise on her arm, about Tasha showing up at her apartment uninvited. It was the hardest thing she had ever done, but also the bravest. For years, Mia had lived in the shadow of fear. Fear of losing the only friend she thought she had, fear of being alone, fear of standing up for herself. But now, with every word she spoke, she felt that fear loosening its grip. The investigation took time, but it gave Mia something she had lost, her voice. Tasha tried to deny everything at first, sending angry messages, claiming Mia was lying. But the truth had already started to spread. Daniel had seen her at the club. The security footage confirmed Tasha leaving with Mia when she could barely walk. Piece by piece, the picture became clear. At the law firm, Mia surprised herself. She stopped hiding in the background. When her boss asked for volunteers to assist on a difficult case, she raised her hand. Her coworkers noticed the change, her confidence, her steady voice, the way she no longer kept her eyes down. It wasn't that she became someone new. She was simply stepping into the strength that had always been there, buried under doubt. Her relationship with her mother also grew stronger. For the first time, Mia shared the weight she had been carrying, about her father leaving, about Eric, about Tasha. Her mother listened with tears in her eyes and held her hand. "You've always been stronger than you know," she told her. Those words stayed with Mia. When the case against Tasha moved forward, Mia felt both fear and relief. Fear of facing her again, but relief that she no longer had to fight alone. The court wasn't just about punishment, it was about recognition. It was proof that what had happened to her was real, that her pain mattered, that she wasn't overreacting or being dramatic, like Tasha always said. The verdict didn't erase the past, but it gave Mia something even more valuable: closure. She walked out of that courtroom not as the quiet, fearful girl she had been, but as a woman who had faced betrayal and survived it. In the weeks that followed, Mia began to heal. She met new people, slowly building friendships that felt genuine, without fear or control. She started saving again, setting her sights on law school. And every time doubt crept in, she reminded herself of that night she found her voice. The night she told Tasha, "I'm not afraid of you." For the first time in a long time, Mia felt free. One evening, weeks after the trial ended, Mia sat alone in her small apartment. The city lights flickered outside her window, but inside, the silence felt peaceful instead of lonely. She wrapped her hands around a warm cup of tea and let herself breathe. Her phone buzzed on the table. For a second, her chest tightened, an old habit of fear. But when she looked, it was just a message from Daniel, checking in, "Hope you're doing okay. Don't forget you're stronger than you think." She smiled softly. Mia thought back to everything that had happened, the drink, the fear, the betrayal. For so long she had blamed herself for trusting the wrong person, for not seeing the signs sooner. But now, sitting there in the quiet, she realized something important. Trusting wasn't her weakness. It was Tasha's choice to betray it that was the real crime. She opened her journal, a place she had once been too scared to write in, and wrote down one simple line. "I am not the same girl I was before. I am free." Tears filled her eyes, but they were not heavy tears. They felt light, like a release. She thought of her mother, who worked so hard and never stopped believing in her. She thought of Daniel, who stood by her when the truth was too heavy to carry alone. And she thought of herself, the girl who once stayed silent, who now refused to be quiet again. Outside, the city kept moving, loud and restless. But inside her apartment, Mia found a new kind of stillness. She closed her journal, set her tea aside, and stood by the window. For the first time in years, she felt no weight pressing on her chest. The past had hurt her, but it had also shaped her. And as she looked out at the night sky, she knew one thing for certain. She had survived, and she was never going back.